All right, we
I
did
did,
it.
even though I muted myself.
It didn't do it. It didn't do it.
It's fine.
It's
We're
okay.
here. Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
That's how I wanted to start. I started this campaign like I started my life, screaming at the top of my lungs. But except I'm not being born right
He
now.
died
So
doing what he loved, screaming.
oh no, not the screaming. What a greeting. I hope nobody was like just like listening and vibing, and then all of a sudden we started. I
One way
didn't.
to grease the wheels.
Yeah, I didn't quite think that one through, so that's
First
fine.
pun of the campaign.
Oh no, wait, was it? Oh, well, I
Did you
missed.
miss what Grim said?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure there'll be more where that came from.
That was it. There are no more.
I did that. That was me. Sorry, we scared you, Cat. Mostly. We wanted to get the pre-show jitters out. So what better way than to do it collectively and make everyone scream with us?
Spreading them to everyone else.
Yeah, good start. Oh, we got our first clip. Thanks, Kenny. Oh no, I don't know. Maybe
The amount
I,
of shit that he gives you specifically, we need to rename him to Kenny Roasters.
I think
I don't.
Wow, I think everyone's just too young for that one. Never mind.
it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Well, folks, we're here. We did it. We are going to start you in 80% of our Discord. We get it. Oh, yeah. The Drowning in Baldur's Gate 3. Yep. Master of the Snapchat edits. He is not the master of the Snapchat edits. He's just really good at it. That anyway. Shut up. Nobody say nothing. All right.
Nothing. I said it.
Nothing. Thanks.
You're not nobody.
Thanks. Hey. All right. I was gonna see if we had we don't even have announcements. I have nothing to say except that I hope that you guys are ready to try and have fun. Maybe. I hope so.
Don't
Yeah.
get used to anybody.
Don't. Oh yeah. That's fair.
Especially a character played by Trevor, from what I've watched.
Only when
Oh.
James DMs.
Everyone's after Trevor. It's fine. It's a
Two
little
of the
murder.
ti-
What's a little
Two of
murder?
the 3 times I've died I've died in 3 of James' games. To be fair to James, 2 of them were Call of Cthulhu. So
Oh.
Okay.
Well, don't worry. We probably don't have any Cthulhu's here. Probably.
probably.
Just a
Oh.
Kraken.
Just a crack. It's fine. Trevor can do no wrong. I don't know what you're talking about. It's yeah.
Now,
Yeah. You do no wrong.
now
Except
it's the prime time to do bad
Dead men can
things.
do no wrong.
Graham's character sacrifices Trevor's. Yes. Probably.
I mean, that does remind me of an Airsoft story, but we'll go over that later.
Obviously, no tentacle monsters in mythology. Obviously.
Don't we
Nope.
have one? No?
Have one what?
What?
No.
No.
comment.
Oh my
I
god.
only see our names on the screen. I don't know no characters.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So
I'm just talking about Aaron. And the sound effects.
Kenny, clip
It's a
it.
wonderful sound effect.
No, Kenny, no.
Clip it.
I'm gonna ban him from Twitch. There's no
Honestly,
way.
I just want my text alerts to all say no, Kenny, no.
No, Kenny, no.
We need a new thing you can use bits for. Just a no Kenny no.
Oh, okay. All right. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's just jump into the first episode of this thing that we're doing. In the words of our illustrious, I'll say James Earl Jones, and it's not James Earl Jones, the other Star Wars character,
Which
Samuel L. Jackson. In the words of our illustrious Samuel L. Jackson,
he's
Hol-
not the guy is not a Star Wars character.
shh. hang on to your butts. Here we go. All right. Well, that part's done. Okay, moving on to the next
That's
one.
really cool.
Thanks.
So cool.
It's only gonna get better. I just had to do something to start with, and then as we develop more and I get to
Oh, yeah.
drawing.
Placeholder for that wonderful intro.
You've seen I mean, it takes me a couple months, and then you get a really cool hand drawn one. It'll happen. I just have to have stuff to work with first. So we got this for now.
I
Okay.
think if Kenny wants to earn some good boy points, he
Oh
needs
my
to clip
God.
just the intro.
Listen, Kenny, I'm going to find a way to disable the clip feature for you and you alone. Somehow, there's got to be a way. Nobody can make clips ever. It's fine. Okay.
Paco, you're on it.
We delete the MP4s after we record them.
Oh my God. All right.
None of you will have any proof that this happened.
No, that already happened to Starcross. Don't joke about
Oh.
it.
This world that we enter now, for us, seems so long ago that it's difficult to fathom. The way of life, the foods, the feel of the clothing on the skin, air so fresh, and sky so blue. That's how it is for us, but not for you, the people who lived then. For this is a world that is at its peak since recent memory. You see, civilization and all the peoples in it are thriving now. Not too long after the great fall of the Old Kingdom. A watery cataclysm that nearly wiped out all life on this world. The mysteries of that old kingdom have been washed away and eroded now for almost 1,000 years. There are pieces of it still left. Some of them living pieces. Since many of the gods come from a time before the fall and have helped mankind rebuild for the last 782 years, helping them find their way since the collapse. But that is a story for another time. For now, we focus on one particular region of the world, a place we know of as the Mediterranean. Here in the Aegean Sea, on one beautiful coastline, sits the city of Ilum. This city acts as a port, a gateway to the eastern realms. To the west, the Aegean Sea, and all of the various city-states that some of you hail from. But here we focus on Ilum. This port city, where's my, get the vibes going. All right. We start on the docks. All around, these various large, colorful wooden barges and ships, both large and small, are making their way to and from the harbor here in Ilum. And one such ship, whose passengers are now disembarking. If I can get Trevor to describe for me your character?
Absolutely. Standing on one end of the boat is a 17-year-old boy, becoming more of a man at this point. Very fit and lean, with sharp edges, and flowing golden hair that reflects in the light. He wears very simple clothing, and he has a lot of armor in his like awkwardly kept satchel behind him. At his side is a simple long sword, and behind his armor is another thick shield. With bright blue eyes, he is scanning sadly the horizon of Ilum as he approaches. But then, after a while of seeing his destination, he gently turns back the way that he came, with a look of longing, before sighing and turning back towards the city.
Cypress, this whole journey, as you have been traveling to this place, your mind has been everywhere. You've been thinking about where you came from and the circumstances that have brought you out of your home and your comfort zone, outside of everything that you've ever known. But this seemed like a decent start. There is potential here. At least that's what everyone talks of Ilum, the city that would be Troy one day. Here there's, for the first, one of the first times in recent memory, going to be held a festival of Apollo here. Normally they kind of dot the landscape of the Hellenistic times, so most of them corresponding to the same time of year, but this is the first time that this one is being held here in Ilum. There's going to be all sorts of opportunities to learn, to grow. You have heard of a symposium that is being held here in the city. One where various studious minds from across the eventually named Greek Isles and city-states will be gathering together to talk about any number of things. And while maybe this is not necessarily your cup of tea, as it were, you have to start somewhere. Ahead of you, as you look to the city, there is a good portion of it that just stretches up to where you can see a distant hill as it kind of rises up, and the city just kind of rises to the top where the citadel of the, which almost like acts like a castle, kind of overlooks the rest of the city. You can see various larger temples in that direction as well. And you figure that that's probably a good place to head. There's most of the people are going that way. You can see you are not the only traveler to have recently arrived in Ilum. And so you square up your shoulders, gather your belongings, and start to walk along the boardwalk deeper into the harbor and the city itself. While you are walking, unbeknownst to you, there's, like I said, there's people coming off of other ships. There's one such ship that just recently unloaded its bulk of passengers. And they kind of blend into the crowd with you as they kind of slowly shuffle step by step up towards the city. At this point, Sonder, would you describe for me who stands on the side of your ship, watching as these passengers have just disembarked?
Standing strong and firmly, you see a muscular woman with half of her head shaved and the rest a black, raven's black, like mane flowing to the side. She has a nick in her ear. She's got a scar on her eyebrow and a couple cuts and scars around her body. She's wearing a firm leather shirt that kind of like holds everything together, and then comfortable pants and these like gladiator sandals. She's got a quarterstaff to her back, a spear. She's got a telescope to her side, and this sphere that she has attached to her as well. Piercing sage green eyes. She orders around a couple of people to help tie up the boat and help get passengers down.
Nice. We're going to say that as the passengers are disembarking, one of the last one, this portly older gentleman kind of waddles up to you.
It was unfortunate that we weren't able to see you in action.
He kind of looks you up and down.
But perhaps on the way back to Athens, if you're still here, I would be most interested in purchasing your navigational skills once again.
Glad you. Ooh, this is hard. Wait. Okay, hold on. I got this. I'm glad you appreciated my my skills at sea. Perhaps when we are done with the festival, I'd happily take you back. There's plenty of sharks in the shores, so if you stick around, you might see some of our action. You're hungry.
Sharks. Anyone can wrestle sharks. I want to see what you are known for.
If you can conjure a sea creature from the depths, I will wrestle it for you. But there have been little as of late, which is why we are taking people back and forth through the seas for now.
Perhaps. Anything's possible at the festival. Here's an extra gold.
And he takes your hand and like places the gold in the palm and closes it, like your fist around it in the most like creepy kind of just like pats your hand a little bit, and there is just a little bit of like you can see in your hand as he pats it and like puts his hand away that his hands have kind of left just like this greasy shininess to your palm. He's like,
Get yourself something nice.
and then he picks up his satchel and walks off the gangplank onto the boardwalk. Do me a favor. Make a perception check for me.
Perception?
First roll.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm proficient in that. Didn't roll great. 12.
That's okay. You hold back a little shiver of disgust. Ugh, this guy
With
gave
the-
you this guy's been giving you a little bit of the EBGBs ever since he's
whole
been
trip.
on board. Yeah, on the whole trip. Your eye goes down to the water between the dock and the boardwalk, and you notice in the reflection how the water is rippling. And it ripples in an odd way that doesn't make sense, and it catches your eye being a person so well versed in traveling by water and in the seas. It ripples oddly, like it's following something. Like something is moving, but not necessarily below the surface of the water, but just something is causing these tremors, and the circle of the ripples are just kind of moving. And your eyes go up, and you see a blonde-haired individual walking along the boardwalk. As you see this young man looking kind of lost, but following the crowd. And you see that these ripples are following him, sort of.
Nicomedes, can you put the ship up? I'll be back.
Nicomedes, as he
Going to-
finishes gnawing on your arm, he scampers off.
They scamper off. I'll go over to approach the young man because he looks lost. I'm gonna put you in your kennel, Nicomedes.
Okay. Officially canon, Nicomedes is a dog folk now, so, you know.
Yeah. Settle down.
But you approach the young man?
You said you approached? What?
No, I'll go and approach. You look lost. Can I help?
Potentially. I am looking to sign up for the festival for Apollo.
We are also going to do that. We have some passengers that are heading over here for that reason. We can help. Just stay with our crew members and we can take you down that way.
How suspicious does this individual and her crew members look?
Just pirates.
Yeah, it's just, you know.
kind of
see,
piratey
just-
looking a bit.
Make a perception check what
Louis,
is the
settle
other?
down
Oh my
a little
gosh, I act like I've never played this before.
Insight?
Insight, thank you.
bit. Yeah.
I was like, what's the other one when you're reading the body language and the stuffs?
14.
14. You look at this young woman, and she does seem to be rather honest. Pretty much. She does have a young dog folk person that's like nipping at her heels, but you know, that's fine. There's a you look over at the crew and the ship, and you see the ship is named the Hawk of the Ocean. And make a history check for me.
And it's not drag, it's just press 5.
5. All right, cool.
I'm not well studied.
That's fine. You never heard of the ship before, but if you had to take a guess, you look over at their at the ship. You can see a couple of little gouge marks on the wood. It's nothing crazy. It's seen some wear and tear. Maybe
Called
from
the Hawk
normal
of the what?
Hawk of the Ocean. It looks it probably is not all of it. All of the wear and tear is from like normal ocean wear and tear. Some of it looks strangely like claw marks or even teeth marks. You see that there are a couple of implements of war that are easily accessible. You see some harpoons. You see some like weighted nets. You see a couple of just like random, like not your normal fishing gear and not your normal like travelers traveling like ferry person stuff. This boat looks a little like prepared for anything basically, and has been through everything.
You are competing as well?
I myself am not. I don't care for that, but you will be?
Yes. I hopefully.
I saw you're appreciating my beautiful ship, Garaki Tokiano.
Graki Tokiano?
My
That
my
one,
hawk
yeah.
of the ocean.
Ah,
It was named after my friend. She passed away recently.
oh,
But
sorry to hear that.
ship will commemorate her. And I'll seek vengeance.
Were you? He like looks up as they're walking against all the marks and stuff again. Were you attacked by something?
Well, we sought out trouble. So, but we were both in the lives of danger, and I will be honest. I am a hunter of sea monsters.
Oh. Is that a successful way of life?
No, not as of late. We are just bringing people back and forth throughout the Aegean Sea for now. I hope that we didn't kill all the sea monsters. I
All
don't
of
think
them?
we have, but there haven't been many, and so we do what we can to make money. Our passengers know that we are one of the safest boats to take around because we can handle ourselves against people and also monsters.
Looked like quite a beast attacked you.
Quite a many beasts.
Many.
We've lost good crew members for it. But that is the life.
Looks dangerous.
Fun and dangerous.
Fun. We might have different definitions.
You're the one wanting to compete here, so maybe not so.
Maybe not. I don't relish the idea of being in danger on the open ocean.
And we do have very different points of view. I would die out there and be happy with that destiny.
Are there famous ocean hunters? Are you famous?
I am the famous ocean hunter. But I guess if you wanted to really get into that, there are others, yes. More famous people than me who have won hunting battles and the sort. But yeah, I am an ocean hunter. And also on land if need be. But I like the open air, the seagulls.
What's your name?
Astrid. Romana.
Cyprus.
You
From
can
what?
call me Astra if you'd like to.
Astra?
Yes.
Cyprus. I'm from
Cyprus.
Thebes.
Like the tree.
Yes, like the tree.
From where?
Thebes,
Thebes. Okay.
all the way across.
I have not been there, actually.
It's a lovely place.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Well,
just
I'm going to set up my ship here and make sure everyone is good, and get something to eat. We'll be at the local tavern if you wish to meet again.
Well, thank you, Astra. Nice to meet you. Maybe our paths will cross again.
We, again, if you want to stick around, we're taking the passengers to the festival, and then gonna go eat.
Oh, when
So-
is it? Is it? So it wouldn't do any good to go now.
They're setting up. I imagine
it's
in the next.
it's literally like all week, next couple of days.
They're setting up.
They're setting
Probably
up.
going to occur in the next couple of hours, I imagine.
Like the athletic events or other sword fighting or
I've done this enough, so what would I know of
Um,
what's going to occur?
Well, depends on the place. They usually have it's a couple of days of just different events, kind of like the Olympics, where it's just like every day is kind of like a different thing. But they usually will have wrestling. They'll have those kind of challenges. They'll have racing, both on foot, short distances, long distances, on horseback, on chariot. Like it's a whole thing. And there's basically food and music and festival-y stuff all throughout the entirety of it anyway. So it's kind of
Chicken
like,
on a stick.
yeah, exactly. Chicken on a stick. They have the oyster cook-off probably tomorrow with all of the
big
bands
clam
come
bake.
in. Clam bake,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll like to let him know like what festivities and the normal times they occur.
Thank you.
No.
I guess unless there's something going on right now, I don't have any plans. If you don't
You
mind,
wanna-
I'll accompany you.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I mean, basically at this point, Astra, all you have to do, or Astra, all you have to do is kind of just check in with the port guy, the port master or harbor master, that guy, and all of the tourists have basically already. This was it. You just had to bring them here, so they're on their own. So it's just you and the crew, and usually you guys have maybe one or two haunts that you will meet up at before you ship out, but you're going to be here for at least the next couple of days before you decide where your next destination is. So we'll say at this point it's still pretty early in the day because you guys came in with the tide, and so now it's getting ready to set up and head in. You're able to do that. If the two of you wish to venture into the city, then by all means.
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll get in with the port master and I guess sign in, check in, but then I'll keep with the promise that we will like escort the passengers if they would like to the festivities.
Okay.
And we'll just head that way.
Probably the only one who would stick around for that was the creepy guy from before.
Okay. All right.
Everybody else is kind of already on their
On their way.
And we're gonna name this creepy guy Bellos because Bellos is his name now.
Would I have I was not paying attention during the first interaction, was I? Or would I have
No, not
met
really,
or
because
vicariously
he.
seen as Bella's figure?
Yeah, if as you guys, we'll say that as Astra and you and some of the crew go down the docks, you can see he was kind of like lurking around, and waiting, but kind of doing that like shifty off to the side, seeing if he gets noticed again or if Aster just continues on past him, kind of thing.
I will ignore the shit out of him. I
Cool.
will just ignore him. Yeah, he's been creepy. I've been on the ship way too long with that man.
Yes, fair. Okay.
Seems very unpleasant.
And she'll like wipe her hands of the grease onto her pants.
Ooh.
She probably wouldn't have shook your hand because of it.
Oh,
Be
she
like,
did shake
"Oh,
hand
like,
with
hi."
it? Or-
Like, no, she would not have. If she had the greasy hand for bad first impressions.
Thank you.
All right. Well, as you go inside into the city of Elam, there is all number of people crowding around as you guys are walking through pavilions and along streets. You see these heavy wreathed garlands that are hanging from building to building as the smell of flowers is strong in the air. The smell of wine and spices as you guys are walking through the market. You guys pass by a one of the pavilions, and you can see that there is a group of people that are kind of seem to be gathered around this large open area. And as you guys are starting to kind of like meander your way around and through this crowd, you hear the sounds like the crowd is cheering. Or do you
Cypress
guys
will edge his way towards it.
edges away towards try to see what you can see? Okay. As you are milling towards it, Astra, are you going to do the same?
Yeah, well,
Cool. You hear a couple of people go, ooh, and then you hear another like cheering in the crowd as suddenly you hear the sound of what sounds like someone getting punched in the face, and you hear a bunch of people go, ooh. Dreamy, as you just took this strong left hook,
that's awesome.
I'm going to give you two choices: metal or man. Just have to choose one.
Metal.
Metal? All right, cool. I would like you to roll for initiative.
How long does it take to put on chainmail? I knew I should have worn the stuff on the boat.
9.
9? All right, cool. Let me get to the right tab here. So, and then we're also going to go ahead and calm this down a little bit as we switch to this music. All right. Dreamy, describe to me your character after just having taken a quick left to the jaw a little bit. Who do we see in this setting? Before I describe the rest of the setting, describe your character right now.
I feel like I need to change up some of it because I wasn't expecting to be fighting.
I could kill this.
Because what I had written down is what I'll tell you.
Yeah. Go for it.
So an undyed wool peplos, which is like your classic Greek dress. An orange linen shawl that I had seen kind of covering her hair, which is curling golden and kind of partially tied back. In leather sandals with small shell earrings made out of shells. And then the nicest thing she owns is a golden bracelet with 4 segments. The first is dolphins with little suns beside them with a lyre in the middle. Mount Parnassus, branches of bay with spring blossoms. The third section, a twisting little snake. And then in the kind of focal point of the bracelet, made out of gems, is a sun with leaves entwined around the inner edge and curvy rays extending beyond them.
Nice. So standing in front of you is a 6-foot metallic looking, well, piece of armor. It stands on like 2 wobbly legs. Basically, imagine a scaled or very simple version of a Warforged that stands in front of you. This is a wrestling match, and for about 150 gold, a wager was placed whether one of Apollo's strongest fighters could take on this Old Kingdom monstrosity. A task that seemed simple enough at the time, as it looked like just a pile of rubble. And the fact that most people were expecting a man to stand up to the challenge, the fact that at first delicate looking individual has now proved to be a lot more than meets the eye. You see this like shambling piece that had just like swung at you again. This is a simple thing. And you've seen how quick and it can move now, and have now calculated in the way of your training how easy this will be to best, I guess you could say. So as this thing had just finished swinging in one direction, I'm going to give say that whatever you want to do next, you're going to have advantage on.
Think I am just gonna strike at it with my quarterstaff.
Sure.
That's a natural 20.
All right.
Nice.
And I'll do it two-handed, so that's so sad. That is only 6 points of damage.
All right. Not bad. As you swing and crack it across the helmeted head, you see this, what looks like this it doesn't even look quite hoplite-esque because it doesn't have a lot of the same features, but it's this very helmeted head that kind of like spins backwards and kind of sideways. Wait, why is it? What's it doing? What's going on? There we go. You see that it kind of stumbles and takes a step back on 2 very wobbly legs before it tries to lunge at you again. I forgot to change the dice thing. So that's going to be an eventual 6. Oh, yeah. So, 6 to hit. I don't think we'll have to worry about that. As it brings one of its legs forward to try and strike again. It takes another step forward and leaves itself very much open. And you get, I'm going to say, another strike with advantage on this one.
That would be an 11.
An 11? All right.
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
That-
Nope, that's a 7, so that would be 13.
13? 13 hits. I mean, it's like an 11 AC here, so it's beefy, but not that beefy.
Okay, that is 9 points that time.
It's accumulating mass, is what you mean.
As you take this one more strike with your staff, it is going to start collapsing onto one leg. You can see that there is a man who is like the one who apparently was its operator, or at least the one who is claiming that it was his operator, is like starting to kind of sweat a little bit as he's realizing his fancy piece of work here is being made quick work of. You see the crowd is all kind of like starting to is clapping and cheering you on. You hear some of the people in the crowd, for the glory of Apollo. It is going to try and stand, but I don't think it's going to very well because it is basically on its last legs. Do you want to try and just finish this off, or just wrestle it to the ground?
I'll just kind of push it over with the edge of my staff.
Beautiful. It did only have 1 hit point left anyway, so you just kind of pop it just once with the staff, and the thing just kind of falls over onto its back, collapses onto the ground. There's a crowd then erupts in a large cheer as people start throwing in not laurels. I should have looked this up earlier. Everyone kind of has these the gladiolus flowers that are one of the flowers kind of attributed to some of the stories of Apollo. They start throwing them into the center of this little wrestling ring, and you see the guy who was running the wrestling match comes over to you, grabs up one of your hands, and we have a victor. He like leans over to you. You did surprisingly well. As he leans over to you.
Sorry, it just
no, yeah.
This wasn't exactly how I was expecting her to be introduced, so I'm trying to like catch up.
No, you're good. You're good. Sorry. He gives you a bag there, and it's like, thank you for participating in the games.
She will nod and try to slip into the crowd.
Okay. All right. Cypress and Astrid, as you have watched this little event, one of the events going down, what would you like to do next?
It was quite the show. Can you do that?
Do which part?
All of that she just did.
Maybe?
Is that what kind of events you're doing? You said you
Yes.
get into athletics, right?
She's a bit faster than I am, but I wonder if she's competing. And
You
he
may
just kind of
compete against her.
looks after her.
Well, I grant you luck on
You
this.
can't see her anymore, but clearly in the direction she went to the crowd. Wonder if I need to prepare for opponents like that. I'm more specialized with. He points to his like big bulk of stuff. He's carrying a surprising amount of weight. It's not a bunch of stuff, but he's just hoisting a full set of armor and shield on his back, and he seems to be doing fine with it. And he's like, sword and shield is my most proficient training, but I can do a number of other athletic events.
Well, I will go see you when you do.
Thank you.
I'm sure you can handle yourself. And she'll slap him on the shoulder.
I sure hope so.
All right. So, you know that one of the big events for the rest of the day, or this day in particular, and part of the reason that you have arrived here, Cypress, is the one of the symposiums. And then later on in the evening, there will be a large music festival.
Well, might as well. Again, still, I have no plans before anything that would directly involve me. So, go see if there's anything going on at the symposium. I hear that's where all the philosophers are.
I would not mind doing that. Or then I'll nod to the other ship members and let them know that I'm gonna hang out with this guy for a bit.
Okay.
Alright.
All right. Sounds good.
I am a daughter of Artemis and come from Athens, so I'm
Oh.
interested to explore that place.
I've never been to Athens. I hear that it's a very. I mean, to hear any Athenian say anything about it, it's a very renowned place.
It is. It's gorgeous. Probably one of the best cities in the entirety of Greece, in my opinion. We should visit each other's homes at some point.
He
Um,
smiles a bit as you say that, but doesn't agree with you.
But yes, if you ever want to come to Athens, eventually we'll make our way back there with our ship. So if you're in the market after the festival, we are open to take new people in.
Great.
All right. Well, as you continue in, we will go over to our next location as you guys are traveling deeper into the city. Graham, what?
Oh crap, I'm here too.
Hold on one second. All right. As we switch scenes here for the moment, let me switch this vibe real quick.
Meanwhile, at a different fight club.
Where is that?
Mental
This-
punch.
All right.
Behold a man.
Think,
We-
Plato, think.
We enter a symposium that is in the currently in the midst of having finished one TED Talk and is now preparing for the next one, as there is like the shuffling about of various individuals. Go ahead and describe your character, if you will.
Oh dear. It would be generous to say that he is insubstantial. He is a wispy, willowy man, but I guess he's under 6 feet tall. But the way he holds himself suggests he should be taller, and it's difficult to discern his age. It is in that weird range of could be mid-20s, could be mid-30s. You got a little bit of the laugh and smile lines. It's kind of obfuscating it a little bit. Sort of chocolate eyes. Slightly curly goat-like black hair with prominent sideburns and that sort of 1 o'clock shadow, like it's aspiring to be 5 o'clock. Slight cleft chin. Pale skin, faint color to the cheeks, like someone who's just come back in from a long winter walk. but it's not winter. And the way I have this written down is it's more towards the end of his TED talk, but so I can empathize with Dreamy a little bit. The universe is an elegantly grand yet subtle machine. A series of tiny nested and interlocking gears. Manipulating one in even the most minute of ways can have a rippling effect across the entire apparatus. For instance, I could change the rotation, alter a spoke, or halt the gear entirely, and move a lock of hair or light a candle all the way over there. Perhaps even something more exotic. And as he finishes this, there is a dense spot in space that is difficult to make out as it sort of just slightly dims around a pinpoint. Except for this tiny energetic accretion disk swirling around it. There is a slight pull from it as if gravity itself is being altered within the room. It gradually ebbs to scatter away into the ether. Some of you, perhaps a very select few of you, may learn such oddities. However, that is not my hope for you. My preferred takeaway for all of you is that learning to affect the small things to manipulate the larger can be applied not simply just in math, science, the arcane, but in our everyday lives. Noticing the small can affect the relationship with your spouse, can affect relationships with your neighbor. If you were to take it slightly grander but less exotic means, think of it in geopolitics. Knowing what your neighboring city-state requires of you, wants from you, would go to war with you over. You could learn to cause war on your own terms. And if you're very, very lucky, end it before it ever begins. My hope is that you will learn the smaller things to be bigger men. Thank you. And that is my time. I've been Laertes of Sagan. I will be here next week if the symposium goes well. Thank you for your time.
Clearly, you hear the voice from your thorn in your side. Clearly, the best has yet to be seen. And this old, crotchety old man kind of stands up from the side. Thank you, Laertes. If I may, friends and mostly fellow intelligent people here today.
Please, Pelanos, grace us with the alchemy of your knowledge.
What need I of alchemy? The human mind is one that can see wonders. Leave the alchemy for the gods. Leave these meddling in the powers that you barely understand and, quite frankly, I'm worried could break you. Leave it for those much stronger, much wiser. Why need you meddle in the alchemy of anything?
Because history has shown that refusal to learn leads to our collapse, our demise. History also shows that when the collapse happened, the gods were not here right away.
See,
1,000 years ago, they came back only 782 I believe is what the count was. That was how many years we had to meddle around in the ashes of what was.
There's a hush that falls over everything as they all listen to the two of you.
What
Are
is the
you-
point of not bettering ourselves so that we are self-reliant? So that we do not presume upon their gifts.
You can see that Pelanos' face is getting a little red, like he's starting to try and hold back what looks like an angry tirade, but instead takes a deep breath. You know not what you speak, young one. We were not there. We do not know what the mind of the gods is. Surely they had reason to wait until we were ready. And even now, they still aid and guide our journeys. There are things out there in the real world that would undoubtedly shake the foundations of your mind. It is easy to speak of alchemy here in the safety of this symposium. What know you of what's out there?
Do you have something specific that you'd like to raise, or do you want to just speak in broad, vague terms of secret knowledge of things to fear?
He kind of looks around, sees that everyone is kind of looking between the two of you. Perhaps this is a discussion for another time then.
Oh, no, please, Pelanos. I would welcome the debate that you so clearly wanted to start, but failed to finish.
Takes a deep breath, takes a sip from his wine glass. Another time, young one. Another time.
My doors are always open.
You can see he and a couple of his adoring fans start to file out of the room.
As he starts to leave, I kind of just looked at the crowd, just heckler in every bunch.
There's a couple of chuckles from here or there.
Did you understand any of that, Astra?
It was cool when he did the thing with the
I did like the visual, but I got lost.
Ooh,
very
science.
Ghost damn.
There was a lot of words I did not understand, but he sounded like he knew what he was talking about.
I wrote down actually a little bit. The universe, interlocking gears, minute ways, entire apparatus, after a spoke, Ultra spoke, and like a candle all the way over there.
He spoke of the old kingdom. Most try to avoid that subject.
Well,
Just think that he
was
brought it up.
the Titans, wasn't it? Before the gods?
The Titans, well, yes, the Titans before that, but the gods and the people that came before us, the fall, I think is what he was referring to.
Most of that is lost on me.
Most of it, but
they're
not
very-
all of it.
They're
I pull
impressive
up
speakers.
I pull out my star chart thing. Most but not all.
Laertes, you see that there are these two young individuals near the doors that are like, you see the older generation that is kind of filing in and out as like they switch seats or talk amongst themselves, and you see these two that look a little out of place from the other white robed, learned type, and you see one of them holds in their hands this sphere that looks remarkably like some of the old kingdom relics that you have seen and studied before.
After a bit of polite glad-handing with a few people, I'm going to make my apologies and start to head on out. And as I see them, I sort of just subtly sort of veer off in their direction and just, hello. Sorry, were you just coming for one of the lectures or something in particular that you were here for?
Just stopping by the symposium. I heard that this is where a lot of big famous thinkers reside. Sorry. You
A few
probably
thinkers,
don't want
anyways.
to I'm afraid that most of it is lost on me, but that was a very nice speech. He looks very sheepish.
You destroyed that guy. He was a charade to you.
Oh, thank you. In truth, it is good that we have someone to challenge our ideas or they hold no value.
Of course.
Speaking of value, what is that you are sporting there? I've seen things similar, but I'm not quite sure what it is.
It's some old tech. A device that helps me navigate the stars and the ocean. Got it from a Triton.
Really? Must have been swept out into the waves and recovered. That is an impressive piece. Would you be willing to take a few moments to come to my office to show me how that would work? I'm always studying such relics.
Of course. It kind of just speaks to me in a way. A connection I can't totally understand. But yeah, let's, if you'd like.
If you have nowhere else to be, of course.
Well, we have time. Well, depends on Cyprus.
I'm just waiting for the athletic events.
What would I know about the schedule of the festival? Is it something that happens every year, or is it like once a decade, a century?
Most places have it every couple years or every so often. This one is the first time that they're having it here. This is the first time that Ilum is having a festival here, so it's kind of new. But it is usually a couple of days in of just varying events. So this was kind of the start of day one.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask which day it was. Oh, well, I suppose you do have a couple of days to kill before some of the grinder spectacles begin. Please walk and talk. Despite the fact that he is a little bit speedy, a little bit upbeat, you notice a slight effort just to be standing upright. Kind of giving the going back to the fact that he might be taller than he lets on, but he's powering through.
Are you all right, sir?
Just a lot of time preparing for the festival has a way of draining a person. I'm
Do
sure,
you give many of those speeches?
not quite as lofty as that, but little lectures and classes at least a few times a week. Spend most of my time in research rather than lecturing these days.
Have you lectured in Athens by any chance?
No, I haven't had the good fortune yet, unfortunately.
They could use people like you.
I'm flattered.
So you're pretty sought after then.
Not
Are you
that I'm
famous?
aware of. No, oh God, no.
No?
I suppose in some ways I'm considered a moderate fringe. New ideas, but still controversial, I suppose.
Can
It's-
one become famous doing what you're doing?
I suppose it's not really why I got into it, though. More a desire to just know. There's always
You
just
become
another curtain to
famous.
look behind.
May you become famous before you are Mark the Heretic.
Yeah, here's hoping. There are more people that are willing to listen than there were the year before. The year before that, it's an ebb and flow. Thankfully, there are more people every day who tend to look at the scientific method rather than superstition alone. There are those, some of my colleagues that blend a bit of both, and it still works out for them, and we're still on very good speaking terms either way. So it's not as much of a barrier as maybe you think.
Superstition?
I don't mean superstition in terms of the gods. It's not myth, it's not made up, but stories or fables that could use retesting, things that maybe we've been passing down for generations without really interrogating.
Like what?
For instance, that only the gods can do certain things, like the little display I did back there. It's possible that any mortal, given the amount of time and effort put into it, could learn maybe not to be on the same level, but could learn to be more than what we think we ought to be. It's some of it is societal limitations rather than godly. We can simply change some things.
Was that magic you were doing?
Some people do call it that. I tend to look at it more as more of a science. Magic implies conceit. It implies a lie, a trick. I am not tricking anyone.
Magic is hardly a trick, is it? I mean,
If you
have
walk
you
down
ever
the
been
street,
to Thebes?
I have not.
There's most of the country there, or city. Shit. most of Thebes, mix of the two. It and the countryside around it. We'll go with that. Is I mean, I'd say inherently magical. A lot of them are genasi and elementals. Have you met many of them?
A few. Ilum has a fine distinction of being a melting pot of various groups and ideas. So I do run into some from time to time.
There are a lot more humans here than in Thebes.
I suppose we are pervasive in that way.
Nice. Well, as you guys continue to walk to the Office of Laertes of Sagan, we are going to go on break real quick as we prepare for this next portion of introductions and intrigue. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens next. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Don't leave.
Don't leave. Wee wee wee. All right.
Scream.
We sub back. Hello to those who have just joined us, and thanks for hanging in there. Those who are still there, hanging out and watching.
It wouldn't be nice if Silvermoon break if a bunch of people didn't join right as break started.
Oh yeah, that is
yes.
that's also
It is
true.
tradition.
That is also true. We didn't have anybody raid yet, so we jumped the gun.
Maybe you.
Well, I think that's a Monday. It seems like that was always a Monday thing. We never really had that on Tuesdays. It was always Mondays that we always had someone raid as we were going to break. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So that we can do this, we are going to go over to Iskra. Here, who? I'm sorry, who? Who are we talking about?
It's the woman out of time. She has a tattoo on her left arm. And it's, no.
Right? That'd be pretty wild.
You do not see any of those things, by the way. That's an old campaign 1 reference.
Did you see that, Testa? That was weird. Did we all just hallucinate for a second?
All right. So, here in Ilum, sitting at the top of the hill near the citadel, inside the Temple of Apollo, here in one of the many spare rooms that is had within the priest's section of this temple, a few small candles light a room. Iskra, would you like to describe your character for us, please? What do we see?
Sure. So, rummaging through her belongings, you see a woman with a flowing head of snakes. Beautiful blue-green, with black zags through the scales. The scales continue on to just below what would be her hairline, and then they give way to a softer turquoise teal of her skin. Her irises are gray with sunbursts of amber around her pupils. The pupils themselves are slightly, almost guitar pick shaped, with the rounded point facing inward. Her neck is scaled too. She wears a dress with very short sleeves and sort of an overhang of fabric that comes down to just above her belly button at kind of like a angle like this, right? And from there you can see that she has, again, more scales, but this time the armor that's common in the ancient Greek world, the linothorax, that she's wearing close to the body underneath the rest of her outfit. Then it continues the rest of her dress, which continues all the way down to her ankles, and it has wide vertical stripes on it, and they're goldenrod and gray. And at the edges of the dress and on her shoulders is a symbol of a rising sun with a dolphin in the middle.
There's a knock on your door. And it just keeps going for a minute, then it stops. And you know
It's
that
open. You can come in.
you know from the sound of the knock that it came from a little lower on the door.
She smiles, knowing that this is likely a kid who has been knocking. And you can see she has very fangy canines.
The door opens. And a young girl about 8, carrying a large wooden platter of figs and what looks like a very simple cup. She is very concentrated in with one hand, opens the door, and then pulls the handle shut with the other one. I brought this for you from the high priest. Told me not to drop it, and I'm trying very carefully not to drop it. She like takes it over to one of the little tables and then sets it down. Ah, there you go.
So far, so good. Thank you, Odessa.
Of course. She looks she kind of doesn't really make a whole lot of eye contact much. She of the children here at the temple that you have seen so far, she is the only one who will occasionally look at you, but you can tell that she is still nervous, and it's almost as if when she looks, she like steals herself, like for, and then kind of like looks and then looks away, and then like looks and then looks away. I didn't know how many figs to bring you because I didn't know if all of them needed to eat figs too.
That was very thoughtful. Thank you.
So I-
when I eat, they start to feel full too.
So they don't eat?
They can, just most of the time they don't.
She looks perplexed.
You know, they have names.
Now
I
she looks.
didn't-
Now she looks at you. You have named all of them.
I didn't give them the names. The kids at my temple, they name them. So this one is Kerberos. This one is Saratusa. This one, she doesn't have a name yet. Would you like to give her one? He kind
Cleo.
of swivels and looks at her.
It looks
Cleo,
like a Cleo. Mm-hmm.
that is a beautiful name. I think she likes it.
Make a history check for me.
Snakes historically like yeah.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
11.
Cleo sounds familiar, and you can't remember if it was here at one of the other temples, but you know that you think that there was one of the girls here whose name was Cleo. Not 100%.
Do you know a Cleo?
No, I maybe.
I see. Well, I hope she's a nice girl. Because I have a good snake.
She's just a snake. It's fine.
You said she is a snake.
I'm not supposed to call her that. They got in trouble already, but she's not very nice.
I see. I see. Well, we'll keep the name for now. Maybe later I'll change it.
Mm.
Maybe something like Odessa?
She blushes a little bit and kind of does her little feet inward on top of each other. You don't have to call them that. It is not that great of a name.
I think it's a very fine name. So, Odessa, I am about to leave. Not leave the city, but I have to make an offering from my temple, from the head priestess, the Petia, here at the altar of the festival. Would you like to come with me? It's the sort of thing that she would have taught me to do if I were still there in Paito. So I thought maybe you would like to come along.
She kind of looks around a little nervously. But are you sure Melanthos would allow that?
Well, we can ask if we have to, but I am a guest here in this temple. I think you will understand.
Okay, sure. I don't get to go out into Elam very often, so I guess if I'm safe with you,
Oh, yes. Very safe.
they're not going to bite me, right?
No, not unless you provoke them.
Her eyes get big. I will try to not act very, be very loud, and I will try not to, poke them.
They only strike when I'm in danger.
Oh, so then, as long as you are safe, it will be fine.
Yes. And if anything, it would be to protect you, so.
You don't need to protect me. I'm learning to fight myself. I can protect you.
Ah, good. You've been going to lessons at the gymnasium.
Yes. One day I'm going to be a very powerful Amazon, and you will hear my name in the poems of greatness. At least that's what Diodoros told me.
I do not doubt it. So, I'm gonna take a bite of a fig. Is this a good fig? Yes.
I picked them myself this morning.
I expect nothing less. So,
I didn't
take
have
this.
Oh.
And I hand her. You know what? I'll explain it anyway to her because I'm teaching. This is a wreath of dried bay. It was blessed at the Lespethian Games. It's a very special thing.
Oh,
We will give this to the altar. Can you show
Huh.
me the way?
yes. I think so. Can I put it on?
You can wear it for now, sure.
Just for a little bit.
I don't think Apollo will mind for one of his acolytes.
It will be our secret.
I will give her a wink, and maybe if she's paying attention, some of the snakes will wink too.
She's not. She's too busy. She has her she's doing the tongue out of deep thought. And she's just trying to very gently place it on her head so it doesn't bend any of the leaves or mess up the wreath at all. Okay. She does her little Wonder Woman pose. How do I look?
You look like an Amazon already.
I know. She goes over to the door and opens it.
What was it that you gave to her to put on her head, by the way?
A wreath of bay,
A wreath of bay.
traditionally given to the victors of the Pythian Games. Fun historical fact. This one, though, is dried. It seems like it was consecrated at the games but never handed out. Specifically so the priestesses could use it for other purposes.
Nice. Okay. Well, as you head out into the temple to go seek Melanthos and ask for permission to take young Odessa with you to make this offering, we are going to go back in time a minute Let me see.
And that same scene from Odessa's point of view.
Moments earlier. No.
Just
Point
skip
of
the
view of
description
each
and hear
individual
the knock
snake.
on the door. You hear rummaging from
Oh my
behind
gosh,
the
what's the
door.
Kurosawa film where it's everyone's perspective? It just turns into that with the stakes. Like Graham said.
Yep. Let's do not that one.
You slightly scarier music as Odessa's perspective of me initially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to see Cleo's point of view.
Here's a whole new meaning to Letters from Cleo.
A horrifying
Cleo.
woman
I'm Cleo now.
sits crouching over the Apollo altar.
Let's set up this a little bit. The crowd moves about the city in Ilum. A cheer erupts from the group. From within this circle of people, a woman's hand is held up in victory. But from within the crowd, someone else stands and watches. This woman looks just like her in many ways. But it's not. Instead, Phoebe, what are you doing as you watch this victor
He is thinking about what life might be like if she had acted when Apollo first spoke to her. But instead, she's now on this side of the crowd. Waiting still, but in a different way, because she's finally taken her first steps.
Wow. Calm down.
Everybody dies.
First steps are very dramatic.
No, that would have been
Doves flutter out of frame.
That's the sound of Odessa walking into the room to see the mist over the first time.
Little girl, you look delicious.
They don't bite.
Oh no. Yikes. Okay. Just kidding. Calm down. I'm gonna go this one. Wait, is that the song that we went to? Oh, that was supposed to be in the peaceful section. It definitely is not the peaceful section. I mislabeled that. Oh, you're muted, Graham.
If you define peace as delivering a piece at the end of a sword, yeah.
No. There you go.
Axe Phoebe.
What, Phoebe, as you see this would-be champion get handed a small purse of gold coins. You see, as the crowd starts to mill about waiting for the next contestants on The Price is Right, as they start to move about this ring, a young man and young woman move past you in this crowd. As you can see, you hear the young man say something about loving to meet her and see if she can, she's going to be one of the contestants, if he's going to be competing. As they continue to have this conversation, as they kind of walk through the crowd, headed deeper into the city. You know of this event. You have been to some very similar to them before. This is probably one of the first ones you've been to in a while?
It's been about 6 years since the last one in Corinthos.
Now that you are here, there is a little bit of familiarity that is starting to seep in, and you can feel it start to warm you, kind of like a sunbeam that has broken through shadow. It kind of warms your heart a little bit. Warms a spot that you didn't know had grown cold. But you see the flower wreaths, you hear the music in the air, you hear the happy murmur of the people that have come from all across the Aegean. You see humans, hobgoblins, tritons, a couple of sprinkles of the bird folk, some of the Leonin. There's a various mixture here, maybe a little more so than you would have seen in Corinthos, this being a big port city. And despite its foreignness, the fact that they are all here for one cause kind of warms you a little bit. Where would you like to go, having just arrived into the city?
Going to head towards either the temple or where offerings are being made. I haven't seen Diodoros since I was married, but maybe he'll be here.
You go to a section of the city that has this kind of acts as a center point. This is where the largest statue of Apollo would sit, here within the city of Ilum. And this is where most of the casual offerings are made. Nothing super grand is done here, but this is where, people come to place their respects, bring wreaths, bring bunches of flowers and that sort of thing. And it is probably one of the more crowded sections. But as you get there, make a perception check for me.
A natural 1. I'm rolling great tonight.
No sweat. We are going to go with...
See a statue of Apollo.
Yes! Very easy peasy.
My dice may be pretty, but it's pretty dumb tonight. It's giving those big himbo vibes.
Amongst the crowd, someone bumps into you. A little probably rougher than they should have. Do you respond at all?
I'm going to first check to make sure my bracelet's still there and kind of pull my shawl a little closer, kind of wrap it around my arm so it doesn't show.
I remember a time when you would have pushed me back.
I remember a time when you used to come speak to me.
What? Conversation only works one way now?
I'm working on it, okay?
The figure stands to your side, about your height, maybe a little shorter. A traveling hood pulled up over his hair. Or over his head, you can still see a little bit of curly hair that kind of sticks out from framing his face. There's that mischievous feeling to the air. Something that you hadn't felt in a really long time. So, what brings you here? He doesn't look at your face. He stays looking at the statue to your side.
finally realized it was time to act on what you told me all those years ago.
He makes
Even though
it.
it meant ripping everything apart in the process.
You can see he was about to lift his arm as if he was going to say something, and then he puts his hand back down. You know, I'm sorry that it had to come to that.
You don't have to blame yourself. If I had not hidden away, if I had stayed the girl that could chase bullies into alleys,
That was a turning point for you, wasn't it?
I'm trying to find her again.
Oh?
Myself.
Oh. Well, you came to the right place, I think. Maybe. I'm glad that you came.
It is good to speak with you again. Did not realize the ache that had grown.
He leans over to your shoulder and kind of like leans against you a little bit. There's a lot that has changed. I'm sorry that I have been away for so long.
You had other orphans to look after.
It's not just that. There is a lot more to it. I wish it was so simple. But we have rules, you know?
Not always simple. For an orphan, that's the whole world.
Oh, Phoebe. There's so much I wish I could tell you. Are you going to stay for the whole festival?
I am here until the light shifts and shines somewhere else.
So, you know I've never been good with riddles, right?
And that is Athena's territory.
Exactly. And she's not here right now to help me with it. So, maybe.
Yes, I am here, and you get to be celebrated by anyone and all in this big city during this festival.
It's not what I like, though. I mean, I don't mind it. It's kind of nice, but it's not. All of these so unnecessary.
There's not a small piece of you that likes it.
I-
After all, don't the gods subside on worship?
You can see him kind of. He just like brings a hand and rubs the bridge of his nose a little bit. Well, okay, maybe a little, but it's complicated, and this kind of attention. It's complicated. But congratulations on making first steps.
Thank you.
So, shall we fight later?
Sure.
It doesn't. I will bring my lyre. You bring whatever instrument of choice you like. There's a couple of stages, and we can see who wins.
It has been a long time since I've danced.
Did you forget how, though?
Never.
I mean, I know mortals age and forget things quickly, but
Not that
hasn't-
quickly.
it hasn't been that long. Okay, well. I trust you can find the way. I'll leave a little trail. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. See you soon, little sister. He gives you a playful, like, shoulder nudge.
And she'll give him a little shoulder check back. Just a little rough.
And you kind of, when you do that, you feel him give a little more, and you turn to see if you had pushed him too hard that he had fallen over, because that's what it felt like, but there's nobody there.
Push him into non-existence.
It's a theme.
Held him into another plane.
I mean, Sonder did it once, so it's Dreamy's turn.
It's like the
Sma-
living guild pact all over again.
Jace, no! Spread.
Jumpy.
You made Apollo more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Well, Apollo just Obi-Wan down. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Moving to a stuffy little office. Actually, I don't know what your office looks like, Laertes. Please do describe.
No, because I've invented that today.
Well, congratulations.
Oh,
Welcome
yeah.
to
How stuffy is it?
yeah.
um,
Describe to me what you would imagine Laertes' lair would be
I
like.
imagine it's actually more of a.
Laertes.
It's a lair, yeah. It is. I would say it's a shared office. You can see that the other person's desk is made for a much bigger and sturdier individual who is not there at the moment. There are scrolls and tablets of every make and type and age strewn all over the place. There's all kinds of little random, maybe not artifacts, but just little oddities that could be mechanical, could be uh-oh, I'm missing a joke. We'll get back to it later. Yeah, it's actually more spacious than it ought to be, maybe, but it's filled to the brim with just random nonsense. It's not quite Pepe Silva style, like conspiracy boards everywhere, but
Not
it's
yet.
just stuff strewn everywhere. Clearly, it's a well used office.
Okay.
And he kind of just waves his hands about, and then a surface kind of just clears itself. And please, if you don't mind, putting down on the surface, I'm just very curious to see it up close, if that's all right.
So, Astrid, what does your device do?
Explodes.
Maybe one day. The device has a series of rings throughout it, so it's like a circular disc. Series of rings throughout that can be spun or clicked, like to be adjusted. And then there's lights that are inside of it, like different kinds of runes. And she's able to move that and adjust to the time that she's wanting to see like where the stars be at in that time frame, or like within that time. With that, she's able to map out constellations, their routes, how they move in comparison to where she's at. But there's still some things in the runes, in the device itself, that she does not understand, that she's yet to decipher.
Is it apparent that this is tracking constellations, or at least part of what it's doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because as Astrid puts it on the desk and kind of like moves it about, a small minor illusion of constellation pops up over it.
As it starts to cycle through these things, Laertes will find some random strewed about parchment that is just a constellation chart to compare against what this is presenting, and hoping to find maybe information that isn't on the chart, that this is showing something new.
Okay.
The things that I've noticed of the chart is we are not at the center. There's the sun at the center of this thing. We move around it. Though many would say that is not the case, but yeah.
Maybe it's broken.
Why would
It's
we
actually-
be moving around it?
Actually, I can build on that if you don't mind. You'll sort of, as he begins to conjure something this time, you can see as he's going into more detail, it's like his hands are reaching into this like wireframe of like of water streaming around his hands, like little like tiny individual strands of like strands of blue light. And as he does this, his eyes go from that chocolate brown to a little bit of a bright aqua blue as he's channeling something. And not to get all Final Fantasy VII about it, but the stellar mechanics starts to show up in the room as a decently sized hologram, kind of building upon what this device was showing. And he starts to explain, it's beginning to match some of my own observations and suppositions based on some of the math that we've been crunching here, that the various objects that fly past don't make sense if they move the way they're moving, if they're orbiting us. They have to be moving around something else. So it makes more sense that it would be going around that object rather than us. Not so heretical.
There was a man in Samos that proposed this once, and so many of us reject the idea of the sun being the center, but I like the way that you've explained it. It's
It doesn't
interesting.
make much sense to me, but
Where to begin? I guess before I prattle on, is there something you wish to know more about, or am I wasting your time?
if it would take long, probably better to just
Ooh,
pass for now.
I've
fair.
Yay, ciphers. Funny.
I've come to understand the way that the world moves and the celestial objects in the sky. I could tell you where many of these bodies are right now, compared to where we are at. So I feel a connection to this object. In the way that it gives visions sometimes,
Fascinating. Explain.
or feelings. It's not just helped to help me track the stars, but also a kind of divination or guidance in life when we have been near sea monsters or terrible weather that would destroy our ship. It hums. It knows when nature's forces are at bay.
Would you allow me to examine it more closely? Perhaps
Yes.
there's some other creature we can uncover.
Yeah, take a look.
And he's going to take out a small jewel, or at least something that looks like a jewel. There's a bit of a, like if quartz was prismatic, it's roughly a icosahedron or a D20. But the way it moves, it doesn't seem to show all of its sides correctly. It's if, like, even if he's holding it still, it sort of seems to shimmer or move with your eye line. And he puts it down next to it and starts to, again, manipulate those strange strands, and his eyes alight, and he tries to detect magic, which is the long way around to this. Or I guess identify, sorry.
Identify. Okay. Make an Arcana check for me. I want to see how much, and you're gonna get a lot from this, but I got an idea.
There's a part of the explanation that I would like to add as well.
Oh.
If that's okay, Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay.
$14 if it matters.
14. Okay.
Cypress, by the way, has like just picked up a nearby device, and it's just sitting
I
there.
start to like mid sort of like examining this object. I start to see what it is and go, no, it's harmless, and I leave him to just play around with it.
Like a Chinese finger trap, and he just gets stuck.
That won't explode. It's been disarmed. That's fine.
Yeah, go. What were you gonna say, Astro? What were you gonna add to it?
It glows brightly, but there are pockets within the device that seem to be deactivated. Parts that aren't glowing, visible dark spots within the device.
As you add this, he focuses to make a three-dimensional representation, like a little blue hologram. But if you've ever seen diagrams for complicated pieces of machinery or anything, and you see them blown apart, that's what he's effectively trying to do as it analyzes what it is and tries to explode it out to see what it all is and if anything registers.
So, with Identify, since you get to know all of what a thing does, basically, this device is used to track constellations, celestial bodies, but it also records them. There also looks to be a couple of other functions that, like, you just heard or just saw that you would have noticed that there are sections of it that are dark, dormant, or missing. Things need to be added, can be added to it. You can see that there is one particular section of it that looks like it has a crystal like core similar to the one that you have, that seems to house a lot of the information or readings or recordings of the celestial bodies. And with some subtle manipulation, you can see where celestial bodies will be in the future and where they have been in the past. So it's kind of like, for those, I don't know how many of you have ever watched, oh gosh, what was the name of that freaking show? Moon Knight. There was a scene in Moon Knight where he like spins it, and because you can see, so there's a little bit of that where like you see the constellations that are floating in the minor image, and with a little bit of manipulation you can see them kind of rotate and move, and they go either really far one direction and you can see how they've changed, or in really far another direction. But it seems to have recorded hundreds of years prior to now. and you can go the same hundreds of years forward where they are predicted to be, based on those same movements.
But I'm just sort of getting this blank question mark where these sort of like black box quality.
It just looks like there are other pieces that could be added to this, either other crystal gems or something of that nature.
What I
Other
want to
like
see is you turn into a cosmic observatory. No, it doesn't quite work.
But yeah, it looks like it can be like she said, it could be added onto.
Other than the little crystal that I have, is there anything that maybe I might have lying about the area that could fit into those spaces? Any other little bits and bobs and inert relic that isn't doing anything on its own, but looks like it could fit into that?
Your crystal relic is not the only one that you've ever come across, but it is the only one that has remained accessible. In other words, it's the only one that seems active or has energy or power to it. You have come across others that are very much identical, but don't have the same properties that yours does. So they are basically inert. You could try it in an attempt to put some of those kind of things in there. You have a couple of them that look either broken or maybe not like broken in pieces, but like, have like little cracks or divots in them that maybe had caused them to lose whatever enchantment.
Given that he had spent a lot of time and effort in creating the one that he has based on things that he'd found, researched, and filled in the gaps of, he's, I guess, wants to try one of the other ones first, one of the more inert but otherwise intact, just to see if something happens and just to cut it short. If nothing does, he'll use his, but not without checking with Astra first. So that'll be the order of operations there.
She
Do you
does.
have an idea if you'd allow me to try a few extra things, if that's all right?
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
And yeah, I'll try an inert one, and if that does nothing, I guess I'll plug in mine to see if that jump starts it or explodes or. New campaign, every guys.
I'm holding the thing that is necessary.
Yeah, I was saying one of the little inert crystals is
So do we just call ancient aliens aliens if the investigation is happening right now?
Hey, my hair is normal.
Burnt aliens.
I'm not saying
Mine.
Athenians, but
it's Athenians. So,
Ancient Athenians.
Laertes,
Current aliens.
current aliens. Laertes, do you take the one that's in Cypress's hand?
is it?
It's one of them.
Well, depends. Is it keeping him occupied in such a way that he's not going to bust anything else? Because we're leaning into the himbo energy here.
Is it keeping
it could
busy?
be.
Okay.
It could be.
I'm not going to be a jerk and go like, give me that one. I'm going to go and find another one and
Okay.
let him play with his like non-functioning Rubik's Cube, whatever it is. And I'll find something else that's of similar quality without depriving him of something that he's at least distracting himself. I don't know if he's enjoying, but he's at least engaging with.
You pick up one of the other little inert crystals, and as you go and you're just like carefully about to place it into the slot, there's like, well, that is a lot more of a door than I was expecting there to be. Sorry, hold on. Wrong door.
Wrong crystal.
Wrong crystal. Oh no! We'll just do the other
Just
one.
get
Your
the
office
wooden
mate got
creaking
stuck
sound.
in a secret bookshelf again.
Yeah. The door opens and a tall, Leonin woman walks into the room. What are you doing?
It's just a little bit of mad science. Tali, please, my new friends, Astrid
Oh
and
my
Cypress.
god. How many times have I told you not to be bringing in strangers into our office? And then you go and you take and you just start putting things. Why are there so many lights?
So we could
Cypress
see
just like
the
puts
mistake we're
the thing
about to make.
down on the desk.
We are discussing the stars.
Yes, I mean, I see the constellations, but why? Laertes.
She brought to us a relic that I was eager to experiment with to see what it is and what it does.
Yes, yes. And how many of these relics have we found that could potentially be very bad?
We've only had the one fire.
I've had this disc for years, and it's
And
this
you know
nether-
everything about it. Everything. There is not a corner of it that you have no idea what it does.
so far.
What was that?
To be fair, the reason why we're trying something is that we don't know what some of its other functions are.
And you want to bring upon the second great calamity of this planet, or what?
If this were to cause it, we have bigger problems.
Yes. It's called I am surrounded by. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Just wait for me to leave Ilum before you pull it below the ocean.
You have a
I-
beautiful mane, by the way.
Thank you. But do not distract me.
Distract her.
Persuasion check
Lay-
almost.
Laertes, I came in here to grab some things before I go back out to the festival, and now I don't want to leave because I'm afraid you're going to ruin everything that we have in here.
Or think of it this way: you're just in time to witness something new and miraculous that we can both write papers on.
This will go down in history.
As
Have
much
you blown up a city before?
Not lately, don't worry about it.
as much as I would love for you to find something to rub in Pelanos's face and make him, I don't know, fall over in shock or something. This is probably not the way. Just, throwing that out there. Maybe just a little bit of caution would be acceptable.
I don't suppose you could transmute the mahogany desk into, I don't know, lead? Is that if
Yes,
you
but
want to
that has
do-
nothing to do with. Wait, why are you asking?
Crosner.
It's a heavy desk.
Yeah, it's relative. Listen, why do you always test my patience? Okay,
Because you know you're as curious as I am.
it's infuriating. Okay,
But I'm not wrong.
well, you usually are not. However, there's always a first time for something, and I'm afraid I'm going to be caught up in the middle of one of the first times, and it is going to be very bad for you and me, and I'm going to have to go back to Kemet with empty hands.
Look, we both knew one way or another in this life or the next, we were going to end with a headline.
But I would like my head still attached to my shoulders. What is it that you cannot understand
if this
about
explodes,
that?
there won't be any shoulders or head to worry about.
Oh my god, you're not making this any better. Okay, I am going to grab my things. Excuse me. She pushes Cypress a little bit over to the side, grabs a wooden box, tucks it under her arm. Don't blow anything up. Don't touch my things. Be careful with that thing that you have. I'm going now. She turns back to the door that she had left open, turns back around, points a
I
finger,
haven't budged because I know this act. We've been doing this for years at this point, and it's kind of just,
points a finger at each of you. Cypress, Astrid, back to Cypress. You look harmless. I trust you more for some reason. I'm going now. then walks out the door.
I mean, she knows
Have
that
you
at this
blown
point
up a
with-
city before?
not a city.
Those who err on the side of caution rarely make
No.
history.
I mean,
I like the idea that Cyrus is just standing still as we go continue this mayhem.
Yeah, he's very much been like sitting down and then stood up when she walked in.
As the door closes, now there is a knock on the door.
Yes.
The door opens and a dark-haired woman stands in the doorway. She looks probably about in her later 20s, early 30s. Has her hair pulled back into a tight little ponytail. She has a couple of scrolls in her hand. Excuse me. I was looking for Laertes of Sagan.
Yes, you found him.
Oh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to intrude on. Oh, wow. Don't mean to intrude on whatever it is you're doing. I was
Just a
wondering.
bit of light work.
I can see that. I was wondering if maybe you could sign some of these scrolls. I've been following some of your exploits and discussions.
I look to the other two. I have exploits. Yes, of course. Please come in. Your name? Sorry.
Helena. You can call me Helena. It's fine.
It's nice to meet you. Tell me, which one of these is your favorite?
You're speaking of the celestial bodies?
He finds that very convenient, and he kind of just
She kind of does
Uh-huh.
little eyes. He kind of
Mm.
smiles.
Can you describe what this person looks like? Yeah, I may have missed that part. Don't leave
Bla-
out the word suspicious.
Black hair, tight ponytail,
Mm-hmm.
very simple clothing, very nice whitish bluish linens. There is a ornamental necklace that is around her neck. It looks almost like a little blue circle within a white circle and a little black circle within.
Would this be something I would recognize, or does it
It's a
seem more
chip.
like whatever you'd get down in the festival market kind of thing?
Kind of. It's kind of you'll see it, and a couple of other cultures have this as well. But it is kind of looks like a little eye. It's just a little small circular pendant. It's usually considered a warding off of evil, like token kind of thing. Like it's like reverse Oho.
Mm-hmm.
While they're having this conversation, Cypress, his eyebrows have kind of furrowed as this woman has come in, and he's looking back at
YMCA. Sorry.
looking back at from her to Laertes to Astrid. He takes a very subtle but full breath through his nose, and then his eyes like kind of flash very briefly from left to right with a little golden light that you'd have to be looking for to notice. And he's going to divine sense this room.
Oh. Well.
Before you do that, I was also going to do an insight check just because that was so conveniently suspect.
There
Okay.
are 4 people in this room, and 3 of them are suspicious.
Oh my
You
goodness.
mean Laertes doesn't have fans frequently throw themselves at him? Asking
So-
for autographs?
So, did you ever? I know the answer to this question. Let me rephrase it better. Have all of you watched Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade? I want to say.
Nope.
Okay, so
I think I saw that one in theater. Jesus.
so
No, you're old.
Boy.
So in that one, Indiana Jones is a teacher, is teaching, and one of the students is kind of like trying to be very flirty with him and kind of hitting on him a little bit. It's kind of got that same vibe, but let's see how much you pick up on. Go ahead and do your insight check.
I don't want to interrupt Cypress's divine sense.
No, that's fine. I'm coming to it.
Natural 20 plus 3.
Oh shit.
Oh,
You've got a divine sense too.
and you've got a divine sense, and you've got a divine sense. Let me look at this real quick.
I wonder,
Okay.
you don't have to answer this now, but in our version of the setting, does this have any effect for those trying to detect the gods?
Interesting. I was like reading what all divine sense says, and I like the difference that it has versus like a ranger's thing. Primeval awareness.
Primeval
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I've been a ranger. What's it called?
Yeah. Galil, yeah,
Galil
Galil.
Galili senses.
Okay. All right. So, first things first. Laertes, as you are kind of studying this person over, it is definitely very apparent that they are trying to fangirl you into signing their stuff, and they're also trying to see if. But with that, there is 100% some ulterior motive to this. What it is, you don't know, but this is definitely an act of trying to act like someone that's super interested. Looking down at the papers that she has, they are like, if you have ever published anything, even like the most remote, like something, this is like a copy of something that you have said before. It's not like a word for word verbatim, but these are like your.
I mean, I was just talking about him publishing papers with Tali, so
Yeah.
he has.
Yeah.
It's kind of his bread
But
and
this
butter
is-
as an
this-
academic.
This is not like an exact copy. This is like someone's reproduction of that.
Kind of like
almost-
the
Took
like
notes
the
off of
CNN
your
article
notes.
version.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it. For Cypress, this is a divine being. This is a celestial of like utmost degree. And then I'm not sure whomst amongst the celestial beings you have ever encountered, but this one shines very brightly.
He very much, if anyone's looking at him, like fixates on this woman for a moment. Just
I don't notice the fixation because I presume that's happening somewhere behind me. I kind of just lead her over to a different desk, clearing that off with the same casualness and just, am I making it out to you, friend?
Yes.
Er-
No, it's for me.
I've never done this before. What am I meant to sign? Just my name?
Just your
Some
name.
sort of.
I want to memorialize this moment. I've always wanted to meet you, and I've heard many of your lectures, read many of your papers, and I find them all very fascinating, and I feel like you are on the cusp of greatness, and I want to be able to say that I was there in the beginning.
Well, that's very, very flattering. And he's writing his name in whatever Greek script we're using. I'm not entirely. I know there's the Greek alphabet, and it's all kind of like Phoenician borrowed. I don't know how to write it because I'm tired. But he can't shake the feeling that there's something else there. He doesn't know what it is. He kind of just looks up at the light show and just,
And you see that she's looking at all at it, and then looks down at the device on the desk, and is just kind of like peering at it curiously.
He went to a different desk, but I guess she could still be.
No, she's just looking at it,
Yeah.
like not like
Oh, I see.
over at it, but she's just kind of
Mhm.
peering at it from where it's sitting.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't do anything about that, but he is mindful of it. And he thinks of a reaction in case he has to. Tell me, what do you think of the theory?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I suppose the word for it is heliocentric model, that we all orbit the sun rather than it orbiting us.
Helios.
Sure. I think it is. I think it is marvelous.
Nice.
Can I do another insight? I like nothing about this is adding up, and
Nope.
it's just coming across weirder and weirder.
Yep. I mean, she. Go ahead and do it.
Okay.
But yes, it is. It is just like this whole interaction is just strange.
15. Not terrible.
For someone who, to the common folk, usually react a little more in awe when it comes to this sort of display, she seems really cool about it. Still, like, appreciating. She doesn't look like she's like.
Tali had
She's
more of a
impressed.
reaction, and she
She's-
sees this all the time.
She is impressed, in awe, but it is not the shocked that you would associate with someone who had never seen this before and had only read papers about these sort of theories.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, where do you hail from again? I'm sure you mentioned it.
Crete. I'm from Crete.
And for the player's perspective, what do we know about Crete in this day and age?
It is.
Another island
Like,
state kind of thing.
yeah,
Nothing
basically.
special.
Mm-mm.
No myth that is important to know in character.
Not the. We're just gonna ride your last insight check.
Mhm.
She threw that name off rather fast for it to be like, and rather
Mhm.
casually
Rehearsed.
for it to be like, oh, there is no sense of that is my home. It is just
Mhm.
It's like she picked a
A
name.
name. Okay.
Understood. Okay.
Aside from myself, apparently, are you excited for any other spectacle here?
Oh, honestly, the symposiums are more of my interest than the other physical aspects of these festivals. I like the gathering of the minds and seeing where things go.
Given your preoccupation with my work and hoping that it, or expecting it goes in great directions, what direction in particular are you looking forward to the most?
Forward.
Intriguing.
I feel, as I said, you are on the cusp of greatness. She looks down at your handwriting and then places a hand on your hand.
And explodes.
And then you take 1 bajillion points of.
It wouldn't take that much.
And
Basically, Caleb's
from a
cat.
distance,
He's just
Tali's
gone.
like, he did it again.
Constantinople
Keep-
buckled a quarter inch.
Do not let the words of naysayers stop you. I don't think I have to tell you that, though.
I have to admit to a certain amount of arrogance keeps me going at times when someone like Pelanos wanders in to espouse his uneducated opinions.
Pelanos has opinions. But so does everyone.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Of course.
Are you going to be speaking again?
If schedules permit, I don't want to be too greedy with everyone's time, but if they allow it, I'll try to be doing another in a couple days.
I will just try to make sure to attend. It would be
Please.
quite something to see you speak in the flesh. Have a
Well.
good night. She no-
Cypress stands the moment she like turns to go.
She looks at you, swallows, and walks out the door.
Helena,
Oh,
She
as she hopefully like as she's getting by the doorway.
she goes to the doorway and stops, looks over her shoulder.
Cypress looks around the room. Could I ask you something?
Sure.
Could it be outside?
She walks out the door.
He follows her out. And the moment he like looks around, is anyone nearby?
No. We'll say the hallway is relatively empty unless you close the door.
He he'll close the door and then quickly kneel before her.
Get up.
I see who you are, or at least what.
Yes, I see that look in your eye. Get up.
Please. Please, I need your guidance. I need your help.
My help? I don't think you need my help, child.
I need to know what I can do to gain glory and fame. I must have it. You of all people, you would know, wouldn't you?
No. I think you are mistaken. Now get up. She like reaches for your hand to lift you up.
He won't take it, but will stand slowly up. Please, I could do something for you. I am of no use at a place like this, but do you know a way? I need my name to ring through the world. I need people to know who I am.
She places a hand on your shoulder. And you see her eyes go black. And you can feel something probing around your mind. It's not an invasive probe. It's like someone is just like running a hand along your head. And then it tries to go deeper, as if it's trying to read your thoughts.
He kind of shudders a bit, but then dips his head and allows it.
Okay. It's the presence is cool, calming, but also extremely intense. And as you are experiencing this, your mind goes through memories. You can see it. It's like someone's like pulling visions of your mind. And it stops on one. You hear a voice in your mind. You are going?
he says aloud, "It's been several months, and I'm no closer."
I don't want you to go.
You have to keep looking.
Why are you going? And then the presence pulls back. And the lady is standing in front of you, her eyes still black. For a brief moment, you see what almost appears to be two other faces next to hers, before it's like the blurred vision becomes one again. I cannot help you, but stay with them. Things are poised to change.
But
You will You will find
they've
what
said
you are.
themselves they're not. They
You-
are of no. Their names don't carry much weight.
No one's name carries weight at the beginning. It is what you do with that name that carries weight. And they are going to do. You are going to do many things. She puts a finger on your forehead. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
"14."
For those who would be watching this, which is all of you but none of you, the woman pulls out a strand from your brain. A thread of golden memory. She holds it in front of her, wraps a finger around it, and as she does so, adds other golden strands, and then places it back in your mind. In that moment, your memory shifts. You followed Helene out to the hallway. You believe that she was someone from Thebes, one of the servants in the queen's household. And she told you you were mistaken. But she told you that you are on a better path and that you should stick close to these new companions of yours.
All right.
I'm sorry. It was nice meeting you. What was your
No,
name?
same. Cypress.
Cypress. Like the tall, strong tree. It was nice meeting you. I'll perhaps see you around
You
the
too.
festival.
Hopefully, yes. Nice meeting you. Sorry.
No,
And
you're
he'll
fine.
just kind of sheepishly turn and go back inside.
You walk back inside of the room and meet with Astrid and Laertes. And then the entire room goes into fire.
Did she take the papers with her?
Yes.
Okay. I guess in the meantime, I would have asked for Astra's help in rearranging a bit of furniture and putting like a couple of just inert, blunt objects around it, like forming a little blast chamber, just in
Yeah.
case. I mean, yeah,
Little sandbag wall. Well.
Oh my gosh.
little helmets.
That
Just,
was-
oh, hey, you're back.
Oh, sorry. thought I recognized her. And he just goes back and sits down in the same chair and picks up the little inert
The chair is
crystal.
moved.
See, the chair is in the same exact spot.
Hmm.
All right. While you guys are
Mhm.
doing this, we'll say that this is now later in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Themisto. After having gotten the okay, excuse me, from Melanthos, the head priest here at this temple, you and Odessa make your way through the city of Ilum to where are you going to get?
I was heading to the festival altar to give this offering, the bay wreath, to bless it in the name of the Patia, since we don't get this far out in the world most of the time.
The festival altar, are you going to the one where like the big statue of Apollo is, or are you going to go to the one where the like more of the fire altar would be?
Whichever is being considered a central, what the priests and priestesses would have opened this festival upon.
Okay. So then, yeah, it would probably have been the statue. That's where most of the general public is placing their
Perfect.
things, and then the more like sheep and cattle, such offerings are elsewhere. The smell of barbecue hangs in the air. Okay, so doing that, Odessa, the whole time. When you were traveling, through the city,
Yes.
how are you traveling?
Well, she's leading, but I want to make it clear that we are with one another.
Mhm.
So she'll maybe just be a couple of steps in front of me. And then, why am I in character? I'm describing.
You're fine.
I think that although Themisto is unashamed of who she is, just because there's a lot of people walking around right now, she's gonna go ahead and have this scarf hood that she keeps in her bag and that she would have rummaged for up and over draped. So if someone looks right, they can probably see like a snake peeking through there. But
It's Cleo.
yes,
It's always gonna be Cleo.
but at least from afar, it's less identifiable that she is who she is. You know, people might look at her and say, "Oh, it's just a tiefling with an interesting skin color or something like that," right? So.
Okay. Going to the altar, there are a couple of people who would maybe take a look. They wouldn't necessarily gawk or stop and stand, but you can see a couple of double takes.
She's used to it.
The curious, like, did I actually see that sort of thing? You make it to the altar, and Odessa looks around nervously at all of the people, and she kind of comes over to you and puts a hand around your wrist. There's a lot of people here.
Yeah, yes, but don't worry, they're not here to watch us. This isn't official, this is just a way to give our thanks. I did, after all, make it across the sea.
That's because you're a lot braver than me. I don't get out to the temple much.
Crowds make me nervous.
Oh, once upon a time, that was me too.
Really?
Oh, yes.
But you're
I didn't like crowds much at all.
But you're so brave.
Mm. Well, you see, we can count on the people around us sometimes to give us that bravery when we can't find it in ourselves. You borrow a little piece, and then later on, perhaps you grow your own.
I would like to borrow a little bravery from you.
You can. I'll grip her hand. Give it a little squeeze. So, would you like to place the wreath, or should I?
Oh, yes, I forgot. She takes it off very carefully. You don't think he saw, did you?
I think you would like it if you saw.
You sound as if you know him.
Well, those of us who study the gods develop a relationship of a sort, yes.
Okay. She goes and maneuvers through and around some of the people as you follow closely behind, not quite having your hands on her shoulders to kind of help guide her through the throngs, but kind of, in that like mother henny kind of helping the
Yes.
child move through the crowd. You can see some of the people shifting and moving out of the way. And one of them turns around to you. And Phoebe, you see this little girl with a wreath walking up towards you, going towards the altar. And a woman in a hooded cloak. And your mind's still thinking about your earlier conversation. You do a double take because you thought you saw something of the hood move and shift on its own. And then she moves around and past you into the statue.
I'll keep an eye on the girl because did you say she's about 10? About how old
She's
I was?
she's about like 8 years old.
Close to how old I was during
Yeah.
that festival that he and I had talked about.
She goes and she places the wreath on top of many, many more that are just like it. Themisto, as Odessa places the wreath, you see the tiny, faintest little golden shimmer of light. And she places it on there. A little nod that Apollo is watching. And
I've got a
Phoebe.
smile to myself.
Phoebe, you see this also.
And I'll go ahead and kneel at the altar, and speaking the language of the gods that I've practiced with the Vithia in training, I will go ahead and say a prayer. Hoping for the courage of Apollopitheos for everyone who is participating in this festival, and the empathy of Gaia for them as well.
While she's praying, can I take the dried hyacinth flowers I brought from home and go up and kneel next to Odessa?
For
Would
sure.
you mind helping me place these?
Oh, she looks back over her other shoulder to Themisto.
I'll turn and look at her, and then look up at Phoebe.
Themisto, as I hand the hyacinth towards Odessa, DM if I could say the light catches something on her wrist.
It's all right. it should be fine. I'm sorry. We don't know each other, but have you been to Python before?
No, I'm afraid this is the first place I've been since Corinth.
Corinth. I'm sorry. I thought I saw something that was a little familiar to me, but I'm sure I'm mistaken.
Do I see anything peeking out from around?
I would say that now that your attention is more focused there and looking up from where you are kneeling, you can definitely see that this woman's hair is moving in the shadows of her cloak.
It can't have been. The last time I was there was years ago.
It's strange. The last time I met someone with such a unique hairstyle as you, I think I was 10.
You see Odessa's going like back and forth.
So this is you. It has to be. I'm sorry. Can I see what you're wearing on your wrist?
Of course, it's just something I've been keeping for a friend.
She's gonna take it and look at it closely, confirming that it is indeed a bracelet that she lost a long time ago in Corinth. But she was there and quite alone in a difficult moment, and it was taken from her. But and you see a tear in her eye. I never said thank you.
Odessa turns to Phoebe and looks very angry.
You made my friend very upset. You will face the wrath of Apollo.
You just like see her like
Oh, it's okay. This is an old
this.
friend.
She's like she was about to go like this woman wrong. Oh, she's a friend.
Tell me, Chand, you wouldn't happen to know a young man by the name of Theodoros, would you?
You know Theodoros too?
He's a good friend of mine.
But how could he be your friend? You're so older than me and Theodoros. She
I
kind
met
of
him
smiled. She's realized, like,
I met him at my temple. He travels between the temples.
yes, but you're from the temple too?
From a different temple. I grew up in one.
Oh. Well, I'm from here in Elam. Lady Themisto is staying with us in the temple. I am sure the head priest would not mind if you joined us, if you are also from a temple of Apollo.
I haven't been from the temple in some time, but I would very much appreciate the offer. I've not found a place to stay yet.
You must, please.
Will you can have the room next to Themisto. It is empty, and I will make sure it is cleaned, and I will bring you all the figs you want. If you are a friend of Themisto, she is going to let me borrow some of her bravery. I'm going to be brave. I don't need it because clearly I am already very brave and I was
You're
going to
very
fight
brave.
you for making my friend cry, but it was a good
I'm very
cry.
glad I did not have to fight you. I don't think I could.
I know you couldn't, but it's fine. Come
You
with me
know-
then.
In addition to courage, each of us has light inside of us, and you, my dear, are full of it.
You know, the Master Amsi says that all the time. She says I'm very full of it, but I try and be as full of it as I can. Then she grabs Themisto's hand and Phoebe's hand, and then starts leading them back to the temple.
I'm just gonna take a little look at the statue of Apollo and just kind of smile to myself as we walk on.
All right. Okay. Then, as we switch scenes there, hello, Raiders. Welcome, Magic Academy and Duckburg. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
So many raiders.
There's so many Raiders all at the same time. But it's good
Time to go on second break.
First, you have first break, then you have second break, then
What about
11sies.
second break?
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay.
Meanwhile, in the epicenter of the explosion,
Little did you know this was what was it? Pompeii tried to do it first. They thought they did it
Does
first,
this
but you
explosion
guys
require a
you
dex?
guys did it first.
Right?
Um
He survives.
there's just a lone rogue wandering around with his evasion.
yeah, that's all it was. Okay. So, all right, let's see here. Let me switch this.
If a rogue like happened upon lava that required like a dex save, but there was nowhere safe to stand, would he just like hover for a bit?
I mean,
Like,
didn't
don't look
Vex
down,
lose
nothing
a
happens.
toe to lava in the Underdark?
That's true. He did lose part of his foot, so you can't
That wasn't a
complete.
dex save, though. I think it was just he hit lava.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. So you three, well, not boys, but three people.
We're
Three-
three people.
We're a threeple. You threeple. Astrid, Laertes,
Well,
and
we're in the
Cypress.
campaign for that.
It's never too early if you put your mind to it.
Oh my god.
But Astra does have the ship, so
That's fair.
Whoever
Um,
Elena was is like, also those two
Use
inside
guys,
are
that's-
cute.
This boy
I
is
guess so.
17. I'm good.
they are for doing science.
All right. So, the three of you, what are you doing? You're gonna continue with your experiments, or
Well,
you're
we're
gonna?
gonna see if
Oh,
putting
see if the-
in the working gem does anything, and if
Okay.
we all just disappear in a flash of light.
No. I would say that
Not a
putting
flash of
in,
light.
no, there is no flashlight. It's just boom. Putting in the inert gem into the Anikithikithiri device thingy that you have.
Get there.
That's what I said.
Don't blame us. You picked Greece.
You put the crystal into the device, the inert one, and nothing happens.
Mhm.
There
Kinda
is
what I
there is
expected,
there
but-
is a brief moment of like holding of breath, but it's fine.
I'll go a little further with the proper crystal, the one that I made, where I'm just kind of slowly mage handing it in from a distance, just
gonna hold it.
no, like it's like on like the table. We've like barely
Okay.
we put some things around, remember, just to kind of like
Just kind of, yeah.
just to make us feel better about the inferno that we're going to cause. And I just sort of just slowly, we're doing some like space age like assembly instructions, just anti-grav pushing things together.
All right.
And kaboom.
Putting in your crystal into the device, you see that there is a activation of sorts, and layered over all of the constellations that it has there are secondary things, little mathematic equations and what looks like other minor illusionary things that can be accessed. Basically, you've put your device in like display mode, as it can kind of read it without your entanglements.
Mm-hmm.
Astrid is going to do a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got a 3. She's going to start seizing on the floor.
Wait, this was from the. I got distracted for a moment. This was from the lights or from the... I'm toying with my thing.
I immediately withdraw the paired devices and rush to try to see what this is, if I can do anything about it.
Yeah, she is seizing on the floor. Cypress leaps to his feet and goes over to her. Astrid, are you okay? Astrid? Does it look like she is poisoned in any way? Medicine check.
I was
A medicine check. Go ahead and make a math.
I'm bad
What?
at that.
What was it?
Oh, I thought. Sorry, 13.
No, 13? Okay. That's not terrible.
No.
Could be worse.
Sorry, I
Ash-
thought that there was a dramatic pause or
No,
something.
I didn't hear you. Sorry. Astrid, what is happening?
Him inserting the device and her connection to it. Visions will pass over her eyes, and they'll kind of glaze over and like whiten, as if she were blind. And is seizing on the floor. When he removes the piece, that will stop. But she's kind of just totally out of it right now because of how low that con save was.
Astrid, are you okay?
There was so many symbols and things that flashed before me.
Are you hurt?
I'm okay.
Are
What
you sure?
happened?
She's like wiping saliva from the
Right,
corners of
yeah.
her
I'm
mouth.
going to mage hand a
seized.
carafe of water and a goblet or something over.
This happened to me the first few times I used this
Oh,
connected to it, but I guess this is the next one.
I think this may be partially my fault. I forgot in my exuberance that you said you sometimes experience visions from it. I kind of just hold up the crystal properly this time. It is dense information. Is the only way I could really describe it. And if this was displaying it and you sometimes are connected to it that way, I can understand the overload. I'm sorry I didn't think of that.
They
You're
come
all
and go.
right?
They pass, and it doesn't seem to do any kind of harm, real harm. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
I'll recover.
Would you like something stronger than water?
Perhaps,
Do you have
even if you're not hurt, let me try something. Cypress is going to lay his hand on Astrid's arm She's sitting up, laying down still.
Probably on the floor. Yeah, just getting up.
I was trained to do this to help with fear. I don't know if that's what you're experiencing, but maybe it will help. He's going to take another deep intake of breath. Flash of the eyes, and he will cast heroism on you.
Nice.
Yeah, if you were-
So even if it doesn't directly help, you are now immune to being frightened, and you gain a bunch of temporary hit points.
Nice.
To see Odessa just doing that. Ah, really? It's that easy.
Yes, I don't need to borrow fear. borrow fear.
She's going to
No, I
pull
wouldn't
out a
dare
small
sass
vial.
Odessa.
A small vial with herbs inside, and uncork it and kind of take a sniff. It's a mixture that helps to clear the mind after these attacks.
Your mind, Astrid, still flashes with some of the images that you had seen. Constellations being connected, forming pathways. It's like traveling, whatever that means. Outside the symposium hall, where Laertes and Thale have their small office. The woman in the ponytail continues to walk down the alleyway. Quickly, her steps go. What are you doing here? Apollo's voice calls to her. Checking in. What are you doing here? It's kind of a festival. Oh, right. Yes, well, they don't really have festivals for Hecate, do they? I wouldn't know. Don't be like that. It was good to see you. For a moment, anyway. We should get together more often. I'm sure the family wouldn't mind. The family is the only reason I am not around. Things are going to change, you know. It's coming. You know it. I know it. Father knows it. We aren't strong enough to stop it. Whenever it's going to be here, if they are not ready, no one can stop it. That is why we are going to help and set the path. It is all we can do. I intend to do more. Good luck, Apollo de Oros. She continues and then vanishes into black smoke. A young, boyish Apollo looks back up to the city, to the tops where the citadel is, the temples that lie at the top. Themisto, Phoebe, and Odessa. As you walk into the Temple of Apollo, the large halls decked with festivities, the sounds of the festival now kind of further away, where there is now music and feasting that is about to begin. Themisto, your eyes look up at the large statue of Apollo that sits at the very back of this entry hall. And you have a vision. It's just as if meeting eyes with someone, meeting eyes with divinity, and suddenly your mind shifts through multiple cascading memories all at once. The sound of water rushing in, filling a room. Someone help! Please, someone help! The water ceases. You are somewhere else. A maze. 4 figures, 5, no, 6. Walk carefully. Weapons at the ready. Light around them, trying to break through the shadows. Steeling themselves as a creature prowls and lurks somewhere within. It shifts again. You and Phoebe standing with a few others, faces you don't recognize. And then amongst you, others as well, standing in a circle, facing outwards, hearts beating. Be brave, someone shouts. It feeds on the fears. It feeds on our fears. It shifts again. And your heart catches. You see Diodoros, Apollo, dead on the ground. This cannot be. This cannot be. And that is where we will end for tonight. Dum dum dum.
Oh,
Oh, well.
Yay.
get in here. I'll cast heroism on you. Didn't do much for Astrid.
All
And
right.
she's busy playing No Man's Sky.
Lend me your bravery.
We all need
maybe
a
one
T-shirt.
day-
Lend me your bravery.
Yeah.
Right? That'd be great.
That's so sweet because I used to say that to my kids.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, we need the shirt now.
The back of it needs to be just a really angry little Odessa.
only
Yeah, not getting
hands on
hips, yeah.
13% fixed interest.
Yay.
0 APR for the first.
First.
Oh no. All right. Well, that was interesting. What tangled webs we weave. Or I weave, or you weave.
Bates
We weave. We wombo, you wombo, he,
Or
she,
woven.
we wombo.
Woven.
We have woven.
Wovening.
You
Wovening.
guys were doing earlier, studying mobology.
Yes.
It's first grade, you guys.
First grade wombology.
I'm sorry I doubted you.
Oh
hey,
boy.
hey. We're missing the most important thing here. Trevor's character survived the session,
Hey.
despite our best attempts otherwise.
It's okay, just a little brush with the goddess
If
of
a
magic.
fireball went off in that room, I actually might have survived.
Sorry.
and not
Great,
just from
because
taking
Laertes
damage.
would not have.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
If he casts the fireball, I would not.
It was a radiant fireball. Astrid might survive, possibly.
It's his own office. He probably knows some lead-lined like
I'm
desk
just sort of
he can
just
jump behind.
Oh my
you
goodness.
guys are screwed. He's gonna put like a lead-lined umbrella. Just no, it doesn't matter. This is Acme down the side of it. Don't worry about it.
You can see like little
This
carved
arcane parasol will protect me.
That's why you
Okay.
need the lead table.
little little angels at the top of the ceiling. If the fire goes off, like they shift and then like water sprinkles down through the water irrigation system in Greece.
I
It's
feel like I had to
only working
invent
in
that
layer
because
two.
of him.
Oh my goodness. Well,
You brought about progress in the city from your
They had to reverse engineer aquifers and everything else just to fix this one problem caused by him.
We could banish him, or we could make history.
Improve civil engineering. Well, engineering seems simpler.
oh my
Kick him out,
goodness.
Key to the city.
You gonna kick him out?
He's dug in there like a tick.
It's a fortress in there full of explosives.
God, I just realized he's accidentally Dr. Krieger. Oh no.
Yeah. Well, guys, you did it. First session. Let's
And the
see.
party's
Buddy.
not yet assembled.
Nope,
Maybe
not
not.
yet. Bits and
Yeah.
pieces.
Cannot venture forth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For
Well,
now.
there's still plenty of things.
I don't know. I think we're running out of time.
It's only a matter of time before Astrid and Laertes blow something up, or they blow up
Well,
Astrid.
now that the Misto has seen certain faces, if we run into them in the crowd.
I was wondering who that
Saying it
god
was
was
them.
because I was like, I have no clue who that was. I just-
You as Cypress or you as Trevor?
Either one.
When we meet Phoebe, she's gonna be like, "Oh, you looked eerily like this woman that we saw fighting." In
I
the rain."
mean, you know, all
Interesting.
all of those Greek women, you know.
you think
it's-
all blonde women look the same?
yeah,
All blonde boys.
all blonde boys, all blonde girls. It's just a thing. It's fine. All
By
right.
the way, him being 17 is not meant to mean anything. If everyone would be more comfortable with him being 18, we could just make him 18.
Today is his birthday.
Yeah, he's 18 now.
Death certificate reads the same.
Oh no. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging in there. We look forward to seeing what more adventures lie in wait for you and others. Hey. But on that note, we will see you next Tuesday. Same flipping channel, same flipping place. Or something. I don't know. We gotta come up with a new thing.
Yeah, we need a new sign off.
A new sign off. I mean, we could just continue to add to it. So we'll have
I like that.
stay
Lend us your
Frey,
bravery.
stay
Same
Ah!
brave channel, same.
yeah, stay Faye, be brave. If you're not,
Oh.
we'll
Safe
lend
word
you
is
some.
mango.
Yeah, and the safe
There we
word is
go.
mango.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we got
the
it all.
city is still standing.
Check the city is still standing. Check your supports. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.